Good morning, everyone. It's your girls from Obscurations, me, Tay, her, Dana. Um, and today we're going to be talking about Ed Gein. Specifically, well, I mean, we're going to talk about him in general outside of the new show on Netflix. But the new show on Netflix is definitely what sparked this. And I'm going to give the the warning ahead of time of spoilers. Great many of them. Like, I don't even know how to say it any other way other than it's going to be a shitload of spoilers. Now, obviously, some people know stuff about them already, but there's going to be heavy spoilers for the monster TV series, the Ed Gein story, made by Ryan Murphy, and I can't remember his counterpart in it too, but his co-producer writer
Was
for it.
it Brad Falchuk?
It might have been. Can't remember off the top of my
Because
head
those
for
two go
sure.
together like peas and carrots.
I hate peas and carrots. That's all that went through my head. I'm like, oh,
I like peas.
oh God, no.
Oh, you never last in Scotland.
I would just live off of fish and chips. Just,
Well, they come with mushy peas.
yeah, but those would be, I just push those off onto your plate and be like, here you go, eat my peas. I'm just having the fish and chips. You can eat these. I'll take the curry sauce. Maybe that would make the peas better.
Maybe.
But we got sidetracked. Back onto Ed Gein. So, there is so much to be said about this series. And I will start off by saying that I am not a huge murder buff. Like Dana 100% has that title for the two of us. She is the murder buff. I will watch some of the things. Like I've watched a couple of documentaries here and there over the years. Like over my 33 years, I've seen a couple. Not a lot compared to Dana, who's like, I've seen them, I've read about them, I've done deep dives into the ones that I like. And then we get to things like the Ryan Murphy creation. Now, one of the things that I want to say about that man that's disturbing to me is he is the creator of the High School Musical TV series Glee, which doesn't make sense up in here in my mind because when you look at Glee and then you compare it to the things that he's making now that are American Horror Stories, the Monster Saga, Nurse Ratched, which that one I absolutely loved. Um, what other ones? He's made a couple other ones that are just completely off the wall. It is disturbing to me to think of the drastic differences between the two things that he's made because the things that he makes now are so dark and fucked up. And arguably, in my opinion, some of the things that he did, because what made me watch Ed Gein was my friend at work came up to me and she was like, "Have you watched it yet?" Like, no, not yet. I'm not really rushing to it. Not a huge fan of watching those. She's like, "You need to. It was really good and really fucked up." Like, well, it's made by Ryan Murphy, so that's a given. I'm like, "You've never watched any of his American Horror Story? Like, those are really fucked up." And she's like, "No, this is way worse than that." And now after watching it, my mom and I just both laughed at her. It's like, no, you need to watch American Horror Story because Ed Gein would look at at Ryan Murphy and be like, "You are fucked up. Why would you do these things to the human body?" So that's what initially started me into watching Ed Gein. Now, one of the things for me is that anytime that I start watching these kind of things, there's a lot of times where my mom and I will pause the show, whip out our phones, go to Google because we're curious about how accurate the things are. Now, I want to say the first three episodes I actually enjoyed and how it was going and what it was doing. And then the last five episodes of it, so over half of the series, my mom and I were both extremely bored, just constantly looking at me like, oh my God, is it still going on? Are we not done with this yet? And overall, when I'd look at like if I had to rate the show, I would maybe give it a 4.5 is the rating that I gave it because it wasn't hugely entertaining to me. It didn't keep my attention the entire time. I wasn't enthralled with it like I was with things like Nurse Ratched. That series, the one season that he got to put out there before it was canceled, was riveting. It was fucked up the entire way long, and the shit that she did to kill people. Um, but it was enthralling the entire time. Like there were slow parts, but then they were immediately fixed by something bad happening, and it was just really well done. Whereas with Ed Gein, it was like I had issues with stuff like they didn't really show time lapses really well. It was just the way that they showed it didn't really make sense, and they didn't really. You know what? I don't think they ever talk about his age in the series. Now that I think about it, because
No.
when you watch it, he presents as very like he looks very young and he presents very young. And even Adeline is like she looks like she's a young woman, like a teenager. And now realizing that he was 40, was it 41 and he was arrested at 51. So he was in his 40s when he started doing all of this. And yet when you look at the TV series, he doesn't look like he was that old. And then they don't do a good job of showing his mom dying in 40 or 41, and that it's his crime spree, for lack of better term, spanned 10 years uh, before he was caught. Or no, it was long. No, it was a 10-year span. So sorry, it was 47 when he started and 57 when he got caught. So it was only a 10-year span, but you don't really get that feel in the TV series. Like in the TV series, it feels like it was like a 1 to 2 year long thing. And poof.
Yeah, so I agree with you in a lot of points. I enjoyed American Horror Story. I enjoyed American Horror Stories. I did not watch Nurse Ratchet. Um, but I have issues with Ryan Murphy as a person.
Yeah.
Um, I think he takes the liberties he takes when he's creating the monster docuseries here.
Hmm.
Um, he doesn't go into depth into Gein's mental state
Hmm.
because um Adeline wasn't a real person.
No. So before you go further to
Well,
that, she
she was
was.
real, but she never had a relationship with Ed Gein.
That was my exact issue. That was one of the things that stuck out to me first because my mom had said when we very first started it, like, oh, it gets all the crap on TikTok and sees all the things. Like mine is full of jokes and Dungeons and Dragons things. Hers is filled with pertinent information, like about the most popular things going on. Um, but she was talking about the Adeline character and some, I'm just going to refer to them as dumbasses, said, oh, she's a figment of his imagination because no one interacts with her or anything like that. And within the very first episode, I looked at my mom like, what are they talking about? She's got her friend over, she has a mom, and as the series progresses, she interacts and has her own storyline, and they make her fucked up in the head. Um, which I don't understand because the actual Adeline, who was a real woman, was nothing like what they created. I'm like, but why?
Yeah. Also, I'm not happy with the way that he glorified isn't the right word. Uh maybe sensationalized.
Oh, like Ed Gein in general, like his murders and stuff.
His whole life.
Hmm.
Like, um, if anybody has watched other documentaries on the Butcher of Plainsfield or read anything, the Ed Gein in Ryan Murphy's show was a lot nicer than the Ed Gein that actually lived. Um, yeah, he portrayed the sadistical side of him, but I think he played a little bit too much on the emotional and mental abuse that his mom put him through to make the viewer. So if you went in blind and knew nothing about Ed
Hmm.
Gein, watching that, you would think that the emotional and physical abuse that his mother threw at him was a reason why he did what he did. Um, but now, if you go and listen, because there are actual recordings of Ed Gein doing interviews, and yes, he does sound like Winnie the Pooh in real life. It's hilarious. He's
Oh,
a very
gotcha.
soft spoken man, but his his um his inclination to dress in women's clothing wasn't because his mom wanted a daughter. She probably would have been just as mean. I don't think that woman deserved kids
I was just gonna
in
say,
a,
like,
overall.
she was just not a nice person. Period. Like,
So
ooh,
whether he was male or female, she probably would have emotionally and physically abused him.
uh-huh.
Um, so I've talked to a few other people about the series because we've watched it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a little group that talks about serial killers. Don't judge me. So
Shocking. We're
talking
all
to
shocked.
talking to my like group mates, and the one guy brought up like a really good point, and he says it was like Ryan Murphy tried to make,
Humanize. He tried to humanize. That's the word that I would put with it.
well, he tried to make um the ignorance towards men's mental health the main
Oh,
issue.
oh, you know what? I never even thought about it from that angle.
And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously Eddie was fucked in the head,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't I don't feel like his relationship with his mom, with
Yes, mother.
mother had anything, or well, I shouldn't say anything, had the most to do with why he did what he did. He was, I'm not a clinical doctor, but I am guesstimating that he was bipolar,
Oh, yeah, I would think
schizophrenic,
so. Well, they did say
manic,
he was schizophrenic, so you're right on for that.
because he made up conversations with people
Mm-hmm.
that existed, but they never spoke to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ham radio when he's in
Mm-hmm.
the mental institute, talking to uh Elsa
Uh,
Koch and
yes, Ilsa.
and
Christine.
Christine, yeah, the
Jorgen.
trans lady.
I think Christine or Christina Jorgen, I think was her name.
Yeah.
Which
Um,
I will say she did exist. Like
yeah,
I
and
will give them.
so did
Yep.
Coach. They existed, but I doubt Ed Gein spoke to them.
No, and that was one of the things that they did. I read a few articles about it where they were saying yes, they did exist, and yes, he did read those comic books about her, and that he did sensationalize in his brain. He did see these kind of things, and he did identify with Christine or Christina Jorgen. Again, I'm not 100% on these names, so if we're wrong, please bear with us. Um, but that he did actually, he had things like he kind of idolized her,
Jorgensen.
Jorgensen.
Yes.
I had a feeling I was close to the name. I just wasn't
You
100%
are very
certain.
close.
I wasn't 100% on that train where I'm like, I think I'm good. I'm going to knuckle down on this and be sure. I'm like, Neil, wiggle room. Um, but I did read that yes, he was a fan of hers and was interested and did follow a lot of her career because, and I'm sure it's hard to say when you look at things where back in those years, people never interacted with family, with each other's families like they do now, where if people see child abuse, you can call child protective services and they'll come and pick your kids up and say, hey, we saw little Timmy get thrown against the wall. We're intervening. Excuse me. Whereas you look at it back then, they lived on an isolated plot of land. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have the running water. They were in the poorer housing
Yeah.
of the area. So they didn't have the higher echelons, as per said. So you look at all the different factors that go into it, and I'm sure there are parts that you miss out on because obviously his mom died in 47. And then from that point on is when he becomes murderous and starts digging up the dead and all that. And it kind of makes me wonder what he was like as a kid. Like I would have liked to seen, I mean, I would like to see a true documentary showing depicting what he was like as a kid because my mom had done a bunch of reading and seen stuff about him. He was bullied as a kid.
Yep.
He was weird. He was soft spoken, and his mom was rough to him. He had the drunk father.
And
Um,
I mean, he obviously he was not a well-educated man.
I was just
I,
say exactly. Didn't
my
finish
dad was
grade
born in
school.
1936. He didn't go to school.
Yep.
Well, he went to school up to a certain grade, but
Hmm.
then the nuns pissed him off, and he was like, "Peace out."
Yep. Which was common for back then. Like you didn't. You would go get
More
a
so
job. You'd help.
left-handed, because my
Yes.
dad was left-handed, so he used to get his hand whacked by the nuns.
Yep. I was going to say. So you have all these factors that go into it that would probably add to it. And I think his mom had a lot to do with the reason for his voice being higher pitch because she was so vocal about the fact of always wanting daughters and instead ending up with two sons. And I think it kind of shows the difference um, mental health can have when you have the one son just grew up to be your average man, especially at the time, go around, found the girl that he liked, was going to marry her, all that fun stuff. And then you have Eddie, who I would be willing to bet if they had done studies, like if he was born in today's age, there would be more studies on it. He would probably, I would assume, probably have autism or some form of maybe not Asperger's per se, but he'd be somewhere on the spectrum for his lack of ability to interact normally with people, how he held himself and all that. And it would kind of have those things of making sense. Like we would see it now and be like, oh, okay, here. we can help you out with these kind of things. Hey, you have psychotic episodes. We have medication for that. We can give it to you. Like there would have been more signs to it, whereas back then it was just, oh yeah, that Ed Gein, super nice kid, but weird, and would get picked on and bullied, and then go home to your mother who constantly tells you, I wanted you to be a girl, and then talk about how women are whores and that you shall never spill your seed or have a child. I'm like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
It, so the first couple episodes, I agree with you, were
Mhm.
riveting.
Yes.
They were fucked up. They were riveting. When I'm going to say the last two episodes,
Hmm.
because the way that we watched it in between baseball playoffs and the start of the hockey season, we
The
watched.
important things.
So we had two episodes left to watch, and we watched them on Monday night. So those two episodes, they didn't need. They
Oh, the final
absolutely
two.
did
Yep.
not need. Um,
They
so
were. Oh.
we talk, we have a conversation, a group chat with our friend Veronica.
Hmm.
I love you, V.
We both do.
Totally, 100% agree with what Veronica said.
Hmm.
In his victims had families,
Yep.
and some of those families are still alive. To show him dying and having this um angelic light behind him
Yep.
as he ascends the staircase to join his mother in heaven was such a load of bullshit,
Hmm.
because neither of the two of them are anywhere
Hell no.
up in any kind of kingdom that you believe in. Trust
Hmm.
me, they're down below.
Oh yeah. Ain't
so
no way in hell. And
so to me, that was Ryan Murphy glorifying
hmm.
and sensationalizing um the celebrity of Ed
Yes.
Gein by portraying him to be this kind-hearted person in the asylum. Like, good morning, nurse. Hello, doctor.
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the mentalist institution with him, but I have serious fucking doubts that he was how they portrayed him to be.
It's one of those like it could be a 50-50 shot because it's so I have just for anyone who's listening and doesn't know and pretty I don't know if I've ever told Dana or not. I don't know. I'll find out now. So my mom has half siblings. So I actually do have an uncle and an aunt. Um, I haven't seen my uncle since I was like 5 or 6, something like that, almost in 30 years. Um, but my aunt and my step grandma, we have actually seen once my mom got sick the second time, the universe kind of brought us all back to into each other's lives. So we see them a couple times a year. Now, my aunt is mentally handicapped. When she was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around her throat and she was denied oxygen for several minutes, which caused brain damage for her. So it's one of those things of seeing how she reacts. And now she's a high functioning uh, um, client for I can't remember the name of the place that she lives in, but for the home that she lives in. She's one of the high functioning ones. She's just not, she tends to be nonverbal. So she still has her own special way of telling you to fuck off, which is, always entertaining when you try and talk to her and she turns away and does this. And that's
Right.
basically her telling you to fuck off. I don't want to talk to you about it. I'm not going to talk to you. Go away. Um, Now she's had a bunch of different housemates over the years just because she's gone to a couple different homes, um, and had different communities around her. Now it's one of those things when it comes down to it that for some especially when you're in, especially back then, when you're in an institution. Um, Depending on what meds you got, and if you missed your meds, some of the mental patients would be extremely, extremely volatile. And one of the things that um, I learned, I can't remember how long ago it was, but maybe sometime in the past decade, it might have been pre-COVID, so it would have to be about 6 years ago. Uh, that in a lot of cases, for those who have the mental handicaps, they actually tend to be stronger than we are because they'll actually use 100% of their muscle strength. We don't. Our body stops us from using 100% of our muscle strength all the time. So we only use a small fraction of it. But what they found out is that those with mental handicaps actually don't have that. Like the synapses in the brain don't tell them to stop using it. So they can cause more damage. And when you come into a place like that where Ed Gein was, it kind of makes sense that he'd be able to overpower a lot of people. And if he ever didn't have his meds, I would have been curious to see if, like, they show that one scene where he thinks that he's gotten out of his bedroom and managed to kill the head nurse, the charge nurse, and overpowers her and just takes her out like that. And then for some reason, then after that is when they start giving him meds to take care of his issues. It's like, okay, seems a little bit of a delayed reaction to then start giving him medications at that point to obviously calm him. So I would think that if they truly did take time to get the medications into him, because again, they don't do good time lapses to show how long that they supposedly took. I would think that before they started getting medications into his system and regulated him, I would be curious because I would think that he would be volatile to some degree
Mhm.
in not understanding why he was arrested. And one of the things that I didn't understand in the TV series, and I think it's in episode 7 that they arrest him, is when he's doing the lie detector test and all that stuff, they have him say that no, he doesn't remember killing these girls. He can't see himself doing it. And yet, everything that I had read leading up to that had all said he admitted right on out that yes, he did kill the tavern girl and he did kill the hardware shop owner. That he admitted to those two. He didn't try and hide it. He was like, yes, I did shoot them, and then went from there with them. So that was one of those things that kind of bothered me. One of the many things that bothered me with the series is why have him deny it in that? And yet, when you can easily look it up and say, yeah, he admitted to killing them, that yes, he did commit those two murders. He did bring those two women home and flay them and such and turned them into a nice couch.
Yeah.
um, but for someone like that, I would think I'm with you. I would think that when he was in the mental institute, that the first little bit when he didn't have medications calming him, because I would assume they would probably medicate the living shit out of him because they used to do that all the time. Now it's less so, obviously. But back then it was you just keep them drooling on themselves, basically. So the sedatives that they would give them, the hard meds, everything, that would be the only time that I would think that he would finally be calm.
Well, considering the time that he was put in that mental institute,
Mhm.
why the hell wasn't he given a lobotomy?
I'm shocked that they didn't.
Like, he's a criminal. You know he's going to be there until his last breath. He never saw a jail cell. So, given 1957, 58, 59, even 1960, why wasn't he given a lobotomy? I don't think he conversed with Richard Speck, Birdman.
No.
I don't he talked to the FBI for their behavioral unit when they were, excuse me, when they were building it. But I don't think he solved the
Oh God, no. They even
Ted
like
Bundy murders. And Bundy was never a necrophiliac. I have no idea where the beginning of episode 8 came from.
I was just
No
saying, and that was
idea.
the weird thing is that in all the shit that I've heard about Ted Bundy, I've never heard about him being a necrophiliac. And again, coming from me, that doesn't say much. I don't look into these things. I don't know. Now, as for the lobotomy part that you were talking about, it the lobotomies actually fell out of favor in the 1950s. The last one that was performed was in 1967, and it ended up in the victim dying from a brain hemorrhage from the last lobotomy. So I would guess that would be why they never did that, just because they probably looked at it and went, oh, okay, well, they've gone out of favor because he wasn't arrested till 57. So they wouldn't, by the time that they probably would have gotten him in to the insane asylum, probably wouldn't have even happened until closer to 60, just because of how slow everything freaking moves. So that would be why he didn't get the lobotomy. Because otherwise, I can guaranteed, had this happened, had he been caught 10 years sooner, I think he probably would have gotten the lobotomy. I think they
Right.
probably would have sat there and gone, well, this will calm him. But I'm also interested because my mom was talking about she's seen a bunch of reports and videos and stuff like that of the families who knew him in the town and how mad all of them actually were about this docu-series, because I guess a bunch of them stepped forward and were like, you completely fucked up his story. You added in, you took so many liberties, quote unquote, and changed the story so much, because I've seen so many articles from people saying everyone basically said the same thing. He was an odd duck, but he was a good kid. Like, they didn't have any issues with him. He was very polite. He was very nice. He did go to that, what were they called? Pharmacy malt shops, that he did go there all the time to go have his little ice cream soda thingy and go there, and that he was, like I said, well behaved, well liked in the community. He actually was a babysitter for a bunch of different people. And that entire thing with the babysitter, like, of
Fiction.
course, it was 100% fiction. That babysitter, yes, that girl did go missing 2 hours away. She was in a completely different town. She is still considered missing. They never found her. The two hunters that they had him hack up with a chainsaw, yes, they went missing. No, they questioned him about it. They looked into it. He did not have anything to do with it. And what I don't understand, maybe you'll know more about this because you've done more research into it, because mine's just going through a whole bunch of different articles and everything that I've read. At no point in time did he use a chainsaw. He used knives, like sharp knives, to be able to flay the people. Um, he used his 22 caliber to shoot the two women. Uh, there was something, and then the sewing implements, obviously, to make lamps and such.
Yeah.
But everything that I read, everything said flat out, he never used a chainsaw.
So he didn't. He never used a chainsaw. And so again, in my little serial killer group, people questioned the accuracy of um Ed Gein being the influence
For Leatherface.
for Norman Bates, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Buffalo Bill, and Silence of the Lambs.
Uh-huh.
So yes, but for not for the reasons portrayed in the series. So he would Alfred Hitchcock portrayed Norman Bates after Ed Gein because of the affliction with mother. The
Yep.
um the mother son bond use term loosely. So it was known that Ed's mom was overbearing
Uh-huh.
and verbally abusive, mentally abusive, physically abusive. So when Hitchcock wrote Psycho, he did take some of what Ed Gein had talked about with with his relationship with his mom and used it for Norman Bates. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was only because of the making of the lampshades, the chair, the face masks. Leatherface wears a face mask in the
Yep.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ed Gein never danced with a chainsaw. That was all Toby Hooper. um, Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill. I'm sure you've seen the movie.
I've never watched the entire thing, but I've seen the part where he's dancing. Would you
He's
fuck me? I'd
dancing.
fuck me.
Yeah. So again, yes, because when they did after Gein was arrested and they did search his home, they did find
The woman suit.
the vest with the breasts on it. So yeah, he did. People used him as their influence for writing more horrific
Hmm.
characters. Um, you can say you can't say he was a serial killer.
That's what I was just about to say.
He killed two people. That's it.
Hmm.
His crimes were grave robbing, necrophilia,
Now, so
making lampshades.
I have a question for you because Mom and I have obviously talked about it several times while watching the series. Do you believe that he actually had sex with the dead body? So did he actually act like did he perform the act of necrophilia? For anyone who doesn't know, that is having sexual intercourse with the dead bodies. Because in the interviews that the public's allowed to see the records of, he denies ever having had sex with them, saying that they smelled too bad. So then, and this was again during the lie detector test and all that fun stuff. Now, that being said, obviously those are, they still have faults in them because you can easily pass a lie detector test if you can recreate the stress in the body kind of thing. So I'm curious because my mom is full on. She's like, there's no way in hell that that freak didn't fuck dead bodies. She is dead set on it. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So what would, based on the knowledge that you have, because again, you out knowledge me for for serial killers.
I don't believe he Edgar Allan Poe to anybody. I think, and this is just my opinion, because there are no actual accounts of him committing necrophilia.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, his house was littered with body and parts and whatnot, but there was no evidence to
Hmm.
confirm that
See,
the necrophilia happened. But I believe he he used those um the bodies. Get out of
mhm.
here, Zeus. He used the bodies and whatnot for sexual gratification, whether more likely self gratification.
See, I say you go down the same trend of thinking because that's what I said to my mom. I'm like, I don't think that he actually like. I don't think. the way that they portray it, again, freaking over the top with Ryan Murphy in the series where he's on the table having his way with that dead body.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's actually what he was doing. I think later on when he's taking, because he had nine vulvas, what was it, eight of which were actually perfectly preserved. The one was too fresh and he hadn't preserved it yet or whatever. But he had nine preserved vulvas. And I think the scene where he's actually dressed in the woman suit that he had, and then he slips the vulva down between his legs, and then he starts playing with himself. I think that's what he did with it. I don't think that he actually fornicated with the dead bodies.
Right.
I think he went the self gratification way. And
Absolutely.
that I do think, because I can't remember the name for it, but the one where they want to actually physically be in the body of a woman to be like that deep within it, like for a sexual reason. And I know they say the name of it in the TV series. Um, but I think that's what he was doing with it. I don't think he ever slept with any of the bodies in that way. Like I don't think he ever had sex with them. I think it was like you said, I think it was for the self gratification.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I watched it. It was interesting. It didn't tell me anything I didn't already know, other than the angelic light behind him as he made his way unto the never the next world.
Hmm.
I think that I just think that the liberties that Ryan Murphy took within the
Or too
show
much.
itself, I'm a I'm honestly I'm afraid of what's to come, because I don't know if you've heard, but the next
Lizzie
season of
Borden,
Monsters will be Lizzie Borden.
which to me I already have issues with because there's actually a really it was a good I can't remember, I think it might just be called Lizzie Borden. But it was like a little short series. I want to say it was maybe 6 episodes, if that. Um, where it's about Lizzie Borden and her sister and how she killed her father and her stepmother got away with it. But then they have her kill another person in the town and get away with it and like stuff like that. But that's the only way to make Lizzie Borden interesting because Lizzie Borden was acquitted of killing her father and stepmother. So she was never actually found guilty. The person who did it. Now, mind you, that being said, I am one of those people that, based on everything that I've read over the years, everything that I've seen, I do believe that she killed her father and stepmother. I think that she got away with it. I'm sure that if it was done in today's age, with all the new CSI stuff that we have, I'm sure they would have been able to be like, yeah, she done did it. But
Just don't lie.
exactly. So I'm like I said, I'm a firm believer that she did it. But the fact that they're going to make her story, it's like, okay, it is all of the monster miniseries have all been 8 episodes long each,
Yeah.
and they're going to force this to be 8 episodes long. It's like, okay, what are you really going to tell us? All of it's going to be fiction.
So that's and this is why I'm like hesitant to even get excited about this one,
Mhm.
because like literally one episode is going to be the Lizzie Borden story, and 7 episodes is going to be Ryan Murphy fantasy.
And that's exactly it, where I'm like, and in that case, to me, I don't understand the point of doing little mini series, docu-series about these murderers and then changing them. Like in Ed Gein's case, he is prolific. Everyone knows about him. Everyone can easily look up the details about him. He was already disturbing enough. Why not fucking get rid of that last episode, episode 8, because it was nothing but fiction. It was a fanfic, 100%.
Yeah.
Throw it away. It was stupid and useless. Why not put in the first episode should have been showing his childhood. True, accurate. This is what he was like as a kid. We talked to people who knew him back then. We have accounts from teachers who had him back then, like that kind of stuff. Talk about that, then go into him getting older and all that kind of fun stuff instead, and give us more story to it. And you didn't have to add all the fake. The entire storyline with Adeline was stupid and pointless because it was all fiction. Yes, she is a real woman. Yes, she does say that she had a 20-year friendship with him. Yes, they sort of dated for 7 months, and he asked her to marry, and she was like, "No, not for me. I'm out." And then, um, what was it? The fiction of killing the two hunters, the fiction of killing the babysitter,
Babysitter.
all of the fiction of all of the sex, because he even said, like I've read multiple things, that he was a virgin. He did not have sexual relations with anybody. So,
Other than himself.
well, yeah, I was going to say, other than himself, he did not have sexual relations with any other living or dead person.
Right.
So the fact that they made that such a big part of the show, where there were several episodes where they either started off or finished on him having sex with something, I'm like, but he didn't do, like, you don't need to add all of this fictitious stuff when you have messed up stories like this that already exist. Tell it like it is. Like the
Yeah.
story that I would love to see, but not by Ryan Murphy. I want it to be done by someone who actually sticks to the history that we know, is H. Holmes. Um,
Oh,
the
yes.
the first serial killer in American history,
Yeah.
the one who built the damn
Hotel.
hotel that moved so that he could kill people. And his I find disturbingly interesting because he admitted to, he was like, oh yeah, I killed like 30 people. Okay, 130. And then later they're like, yeah, more like 200 plus people that you killed. And he was so fucked, but brilliant at the same time, that he had chutes in his hotel that he would drop the dead bodies down into, and they'd go into a vat of acid, clean it right to the bone, and then he'd take the fucking skeletons and sell them to the school up the street
Yep.
and get money for it. Like,
Yeah. So I think the last 6, 7 years have really brought out the curiosity about
mhm.
serial killers because they've
That's what I've
always
kind of
been around.
noticed,
And I think it was like the beginning of COVID, Netflix just started popping out
right?
serial killer after serial killer. And they touched on some really good ones. Like they did John Wayne Gacy,
Hmm.
Jeffrey Dahmer, Richard Ramirez, Ted
Hmm.
Bundy. There's so many out there,
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
but it's the ones that you don't hear about are the ones that you want to learn about.
Yes.
The ones that don't get their moment in the spotlight, if you will, and I'm so
Hmm.
sorry. I don't mean to glorify it,
Hmm.
but like Arlene Wuornos, a female serial killer,
Hmm.
got one movie made about her
Yep.
and it glorified it.
Yep.
Give me facts. If I want to read fiction, I'll pick up a Stephen King book.
Yep.
So while I was excited for the Ed Gein story to come out, I was very disappointed in the 8 episodes I watched, only
Yes.
because having prior knowledge, like if you went in blind and knew nothing and didn't like Google
Yeah, I was say having, and I,
during the episodes, you would be all like, "That was great."
but I think
It,
that's the problem It's the issue that my mom and I have is that in today's day and age, you literally, we have our phones right here. You can easily pick it up and look at the true facts of what happened. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Google in general. You can find recordings of the actual confessions. You can see the
Yeah.
court records. So much of it is public access now that it's one of those things of I don't understand the point of lying about it or making things up when it's right here in my hand. And you cannot then call it a docu-series. You cannot in any case. You need to heavily put in there and say this is not all 100% accurate to the facts that are known to the world. This is hearsay. This is fan fiction,
Yep.
and give people warnings for it so they know ahead of time that, okay, yeah, it's not going to be actual accurate to what we know to be true and what you can find out in the world of information. And I'm with you. I would rather hear about, like, everyone knows about the fucking pig farmer. Everyone knows about Jack the Ripper. Everyone knows about Dahmer. Everyone knows about Ed Gein. Stop repeating the same fucking things over and over again.
Right.
If you're going to talk about a serial killer or something like that, I would rather learn new details and expand my knowledge about ones that we've never heard about. Like the female serial killers. Who is prolific when it comes to female serial killers?
So let me ask you, did you know who Richard Speck was?
No.
Okay, so neither did Norm. And I'm sitting on the end of the couch kind of smirking. And he's like, "Do you know who he is?" I'm like, "Mhm." He's like, "I've never heard of him." Exactly, because nobody's made a documentary about him.
Mm-hmm.
But his story is so consuming. Like, look him up. Look him up. The way that they portrayed him, his 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes of fame in
Yep.
episode 7, that was good. That was
Yeah.
really good. I would love to see
So what?
maybe 4 parts, maybe four
Yeah.
episodes
Yeah. I was going to say
of his story because that's about all it would take.
the
But yeah,
series need to be shorter, just so that way they
yeah,
can keep it.
like they called him Birdman.
So why
So
did they call him that?
that was his nickname in prison, Birdman. And you would have to look at his biography to understand. But he did have breasts.
I was going to ask
He
about that.
he he was taking female hormones in prison.
Really? That is shocking for back then.
Exactly. But you don't hear about him. Nobody
No.
has nobody has told his story. So it's like, hello, let's get on it, people. But don't glorify it. Don't.
Mm-hmm. Don't give them a heavenly ending. Like that was one of my biggest gripes. I mean, the liberties that he took in general annoyed the living shit out of me.
Yeah,
But then when you get to the end and you have him glorifying it as when he's walking down or rolling down the hall, and you have all of the nurses and all that doing a fucking dance.
dance. Yeah,
Um, and then you have the other killers. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You've never heard of me, but you're such a big inspiration. It's like none of that made sense to me whatsoever because all Ryan Murphy was doing was 1 million fucking percent glorifying it and saying, look how great it
yeah.
is. Look how great he is. Now he's up in heaven with his mother. It's like, no, why would you ever shoot something like that?
No serial killer has ever been interviewed and said that another serial killer inspired them.
Yeah, I was going to
It's
say, I have as of yet to actually see one be like, oh my God, yeah, it's so great.
It's yeah, no, it's never happened. It's never happened. I don't think it ever will happen unless you get a copycat killer, and then they're not
I
a
was just
serial
gonna
killer,
say,
they're a copycat killer.
I've seen the ones where they're trying to outdo another serial killer, where they're like, oh yeah, you think, because I've seen it in TV shows where they talk about it, um, about where they're like, oh yeah, you're just trying to copy him to be like him, and he's like, no, I'm gonna do better than him, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, there's that too, I suppose. You're like,
Yeah,
alrighty then. But I've never seen
yeah.
any of them where they're like, "Oh yeah, I did this to be just like them," unless they're a copycat killer. In which case, then they're seen as being uncreative. And from what I've seen with interviews, the original murderers, never serial killers, normally get mad at the having their shit copied, where they're like, "Cheap knockoff. No one can do it like I can do it." So they all tend to be very territorial when it comes to it.
All the copycats out there, you never see documentaries about them.
Nope.
What does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares that you're a copycat.
Yep.
It's the first that they want to know about. They don't care
Mm-hmm.
about you. So yeah.
And just
Anyway,
just
watch
just the
Ed Gein if you want.
the disclaimer for everyone: we are not in any way, shape, or form encouraging anyone to go out and murder. Do not go out and murder. It is not the right answer. It's just we would like documentaries to be made factually, with, yes, some entertainment value to it, but still factually being the number one issue. And do it about fucking other people than the main like five that are out there that everyone's like, oh, well, these are all the ones that we know. Fucking be different. Make other documentaries of other ones so that people can know that, hey, I would love to see some female ones done. So that way we can be like, listen, there are female serial killers out there. And there are. The first one in, I think it was Irish history, somewhere over there. I remember reading it for one of our other episodes, was actually a female serial killer. It was either in Ireland or over here in Canada. I can't remember for sure now, but one of the two. The first recorded serial killer was a freaking female. Why can we not talk about that? Women
Yeah.
kill too. I want to sit there and be like, look, we can also be unhinged. Maybe the populace should know that there are also women that are dangerous out there that you should be worried about. Not just handsome looking men that come around going, hey, I'm getting my Volkswagen Beetle. No.
Exactly.
Okay, this ends our rant. I'm good now.
All right. So we
uh,
will we'll be back again. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be good. I don't even know when we'll be doing it, but it'll be fun.
I say, yeah, we'll be back again, maybe in very near future, because we're going out for our special dinner tonight. So maybe we'll do a review about the delicious food and drinks that we have tonight.
Sounds good.
Talk
Have a good one.
to you guys later.